Top of the morning, or in this case, the afternoon, as your world champion Dodgers are at home, sort of. They're the visiting team taking on the Chicago White Sox, who also share this facility. And this, the annual wearing of the green spring training tradition that skipped a year last year, but is back today. Hi again, everybody. Along with Rick Monday, I'm Tim Neverett. Walker Buehler gets to go today with his team-leading fourth start.
And for Walker Buehler, we've seen him on the mound quite often. We'll find out about the fastball, also the curveball. And for Walker Buehler, just like we saw Clayton Kershaw yesterday, the countdown continues. So he might have 2 more appearances before he actually sees action during the regular season.
We'll get a look at a couple of key characters out of the bullpen today as well, including Corey Knebel.
And for Knebel, he's going to be making his 5th appearance. He's been very good so far. And for the former All-Star, comes over in the deal from the Milwaukee Brewers, and so far he has been spot on.
Sometime in the middle of the game, Kenley Jansen will come on, the closer. We'll see what his work looks like.
Yeah, and for Jansen, we heard Dave Roberts saying earlier today, so they're going to be looking at the velocity, also the command of the strike zone. But for Kenley Jansen, good start in spring training.
Well, Dodgers looking for a little luck today on a happy St. Patrick's Day version of Dodgers baseball. Dodgers and White Sox lineups. First pitch next. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the SoCal BMW Centers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Chris Taylor drove in a number of runs of his own in the postseason on the way to the World Series championship last year. And the Dodgers back at work today on a beautiful St. Patrick's Day afternoon. Sunshine, really barely any breeze to talk about. 66 degrees. Temperature will go up a little bit, but great blue skies in the Valley of the Sun in Glendale, Arizona. As Walker Buehler, green hat and all, makes his way in from the bullpen. He'll come out in the bottom of the inning, as the Dodgers will hit in the top of the inning, playing as the visiting team today against the White Sox. And Walker Buehler expected to go 4 innings today. 65 pitches maybe. And we'll see how he dials in the command compared to his last start.
I think especially, too, with the breaking stuff. The curveball was here and there the last outing that he had. But tell you what, the fans are enjoying the weather in Glendale, Arizona. And for the White Sox, they're really enjoying it, because if they look at the thermometer that's coming from Chicago, it's 38 degrees, and with a 16-mile-an-hour wind coming off of Lake Michigan, downtown Chicago, it is a wind chill of 28.
Yeah, they'd rather be in Arizona.
They would rather be in Arizona.
Absolutely. Good to see the green hats. Last year, obviously, we missed them due to the COVID shutdown, but good to see this tradition back in baseball and in spring training. The socks are green with the shamrocks on them. Green undershirts for some of the White Sox players. Sometimes you'll see green bases. They're using the white bases here today.
But we did notice that they were, at least earlier on, don't know if it continued, they were really putting green dye on the pitching slab on the mound earlier.
Umpires with green caps today as well. So make no mistake, this is the 17th of March as we're on the backslide of spring training. More moves will be made in the coming days to trim the rosters. See, I even like the green nacho helmets. So I think that's a great move by the Dodgers. They switch out the blue nacho helmets to the green today.
They will be working, and they will be a collector's item. There's no question about it. And really, St. Patrick's Day, you look back, there's a great tradition, not only on St. Patrick's Day, but it kind of blends in with the Dodgers as well, because it was on this date, 1946, that Jackie Robinson played his first professional baseball game with the Dodgers. That game was played in Daytona Beach, Florida, where the weather again was somewhat warmer than it is in Chicago right now.
He was with the Montreal Royals, right, against the Dodgers.
And it was the first game that he actually played wearing a Dodger uniform, his first professional game.
Folks happy and excited today. The White Sox taking the field. Lucas Giolito out of Harvard Westlake High School will make the start, and he'll face the Dodgers today. And this is what the Dodger lineup looks like on this St. Patrick's Day. Chris Taylor will lead off. Gavin Lux at shortstop today. A.J. Pollock in left field. Austin Barnes behind the plate. Edwin Rios gets the start at third. Smith getting some swings as the DH. Matt Beatty at first base, Zach McKinstry in right, and DJ Peters is the starting center fielder this afternoon. Lucas Giolito threw a no-hitter last year against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And so far this spring, he's allowed just 1 run. This will be his 4th appearance. He is the White Sox opening day starter. So we'll get a good look at Lucas Giolito for several innings today, expecting 4 out of him. And a guy with Santa Monica ties, just like you, born there, but went to Harvard Westlake High School, and UCLA wanted him. Ended up with the Nationals before his time with the White Sox.
Yeah, the #1 pick by the Washington Nationals. And Giolito, he's also one of those guys, too, when you talk to hitters, they say, well, we don't really pick the ball up right away. Somewhat abbreviated delivery. Right at the top, right at the release point, hides the ball very well.
Yeah, last August 25th, he had an opportunity at a perfect game until the 4th inning. He walked a man in the 4th, but other than that, he was just downright really good. Struck out 13 Pirates that day on August 25th against Pittsburgh last year, a no-hitter for Lucas Giolito. And that was 2 years after he really was questioning himself, because in 2018 he came down with an ERA of over 6 when the season was over. Kind of rededicated himself. He remade his mechanics and his delivery for 2019, and boy, did that work. He became an all-star in 2019. Now he is not only a front of the rotation starter, but an opening day starter for the White Sox with a no-hitter under his belt. And he'll face Chris Taylor to start the ball game today. Taylor hitting .316 in the spring, 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in as Giolito climbs up on top of the hill. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. And it's up for ball 1, and we are underway.
It's been a while since Taylor's really been in that leadoff spot. Interesting note, 157 games leading off in his career. How many times last year? Zip.
1-0 pitch. Now 1-1.
Dodgers, from an offensive standpoint, also hoping, Tim, that they can produce a little bit better than yesterday, where it was a lopsided game. They were 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. It was the old case of, okay, we're getting them on, but could not get them in.
It's funny how you have days like that, where one day you could score as many runs as you want, call off the dogs at times, and then the next day you can't get a hit with a man at second base.
There was one game after a game years and years ago, Tommy Lasorda was managing, and he was asked after the game, he says, hey, you guys couldn't pick up runs. He goes, well, you know, it's one of those things. We got him on, we couldn't get him over, we couldn't get him in, and then he went back over, yeah, we couldn't get him in, we got him over, we got him on, and finally says, we didn't score, get out of here.
It was a little more simple.
Yeah.
Just get to the point. 2-2 to Taylor. Gavin Lux on deck. Facing Lucas Giolito. Giolito delivering 2-2. Strike 3 call. He caught the very top of the strike zone, and Taylor didn't like it much. He let the home plate umpire Chris Siegel hear about it.
Shortstop batting second, number 9, Gavin Lux.
So the high strike has been established. Interesting, too, as we look at the Dodgers in their lineup, Tim, is there a message, or is there really the competition? Because Taylor's playing at second base, and now Gavin Lux comes on to bat, and Lux is playing at shortstop today. And you figure that one of these two guys is going to claim the starting nod at second base.
Yeah, you've got to figure that. And somebody's going to play the lion's share of the games over there. There will be a lot of movement around, you would think, but this is an opportunity for them to see what Lux can do at shortstop.
And they're both having very good springs, and Lux hitting over 400.
He's 4 for 5 over his last 2 games. He's driven in a run, so he's been swinging a good bat. He's earning his time. He gets ahead of Giolito here. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, for Lux, the swing has been right on point. Obviously, it has been hitting at 417 coming in today. Yes, it's spring training. Yes, it's early. But not really a complicated swing. Has been short and quick right to the baseball.
Yeah. A 4-pitch walk. So the Dodgers with a base runner as Lux trots down to first base. 1 on, 1 out for A.J. Pollock. Appropriate that A.J. Pollock plays on St. Patrick's Day, being a Fighting Irish from Notre Dame.
Well, we had the Brewers and Craig Counsell in yesterday, Camelback Ranch, Glendale, and I just wonder the outfit that Counsell is wearing today.
I know. 2 years ago, we saw him wear a Leprechaun's outfit to home plate to exchange lineup cards on St. Patrick's Day. Strike is called, and it's 0-1 to A.J.
And from the center field camera, you got a pretty good idea about the abbreviated delivery by Giolito. He does not, once he takes his hand out of the glove to deliver it, it's not a full arm stretch at all. So that's what I'm talking about. Hitters have a little trouble picking up the baseball.
Well, Giolito's 0-1 pitch. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike to A.J.
And Giolito also is it, he starts to lean forward a little bit early as well. And so from a base running standpoint, if you can see him just start to go to the leaning tower of pizza, at that point, you take off, you get a pretty good jump.
Good pitch. 2-1. Didn't miss by much, but still missed.
Here's what we're talking about. Not only going, but see the abbreviated arm? He does not extend the arm back at all. And from a hitter, that's, you like to see more of an Iron Mike where you outstretch the arm.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Pollock. There's an Iron Mike reference to the pitching machines that just sort of come right over the top.
Come right over the top, and then you hear the spring.
Yeah. Comes over, and then boing, 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 boing.
Yeah. Especially if someone's in the cage late at night.
A good lead for Lux there as Pollock fouls this pitch back.
Over the years at Dodgertown, the Dodgers would have teams from Japan or Korea. They would come in and kind of share the facilities for a while, and you could hear at 11 o'clock at night. I mean, there were still guys lined up to hit in the cages. Good lead over first by Lux.
Yeah, he's leaning too. Pollock fouls it off. Now, if you're the runner at first base, you got a tall right-hander in the stretch like Giolito. Are you looking at the hips? Are you looking at the heels? What are you looking at?
It depends upon who the pitcher is, and there are different reads. Maury Wills, obviously a great career with the Dodgers, and then he would come into spring training and take guys talking about base running. And you know where he began? It wasn't at first. He began talking about base running at home plate.
Well, you got to get to first.
But it's a good question that you ask, and there are different things that you're looking at that you have to know. Does the front heel of the pitcher, does that come up? Is it the leg? Everybody has a kind of a different thing. For Maury, who would go over different areas that he was kind of keying upon. But you often also have to have a scouting report. If you're making your living primarily with your legs, as Maury did, and had success getting on base on top of it, you're looking at keys and trying to figure them out.
This will be a 9-pitch at bat at least. So with a right-handed pitcher and his back facing you, when's the safest time to get into your secondary lead?
You're taking a chance too, because sometimes you see that front knee collapse and you figure, aha, I got him. Guess what? No, he's got you. There's that fine line between a good move and a balk.
Two to Pollock. AJ hits this one in the air to right center. Over there to play it, Luis Robert. And Lux will have to head back to first base. So a long out for AJ. 2 down.
Catcher on the fourth, number 15, Austin Barnes.
But I think when you talk about base running, you can break it up into several chapters because you obviously here, runner at first, nobody else on, right-handed pitcher. You know, what are your keys then? Left-handed pitcher, it's a whole different kettle of fish. Ball one to Barnes. Austin hitting .353 this spring. He's got a home run. He's knocked in 3. Top of the first inning. No score. Dodgers and White Sox this afternoon. On the ground left side. Tim Anderson leaping throw a little bit too high. And Lutz wants to score, but ball was out of play. And I think he'll have to. They're going to send him back. Yep, back to third. But an athletic play by Tim Anderson just to get the ball in the direction of first base here.
Sometimes you make a good play, and there are sometimes that said, hey, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't be throwing. But for Anderson, I mean, to be able to get to that ball, play on both sides. I mean, here's a guy that won the batting crown in the American League 2 years ago. It dropped off a little bit last year. Not by much. He still hit .322.
Well, Barnes got to second base on the throw. Give credit for a base hit. So second and third. 2 men out.
But for Anderson, it's, you know, he gets charged with an error. He makes a nice play, but then throws it away.
So the Dodgers yesterday with runners in scoring position, 1 for 13. It's the first chance they've had runners in scoring position today, and Rios getting a good look at third base today. Will try to make the most of his at-bats. A little late as Giolito got the high fastball by him. Some high cheese retiring Edwin Rios. Dodgers leave 2. They get a hit. There was an error. Half inning done. White Sox coming to bat against Walker Buehler. As we head to the bottom of the first inning. Oh, that's no fair using a fork for the nachos, right? Got the green helmet. That's good, but I thought those are finger foods.
Well, you can use the fork in the Valley of the Sun. It's a direct reference maybe to Arizona State, the Sun Devils.
Forks up, they say. Tim Anderson leads off. Leori Garcia, then Jose Abreu. Yohan Moncada will back cleanup play third. Eloy Jimenez is in left field. Luis Robert after that. He'll be in center. Adam Eaton in right. Zach Collins, the catcher. And Yerman Mercedes will bat ninth and be the designated hitter. And Walker Buehler making his team leading 4th start. 0-1 with a .675, but that'll get erased in a couple of weeks and will become a distant memory by the time he makes his first and second starts in the regular season. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tim Anderson, hitting .207 this spring. And Buehler right past him.
Never been a question about the fastball and the velocity. Maybe at times the location. Looking at today is, at least from my perspective, is the curveball. He threw some very good ones the last outing, and then some that were a little pedestrian.
Tried to catch that inside edge and missed.
This is about the time also that you see the pitchers and the hitters, for that matter, start to get into the flow, feel more confident, and now it's to the point of refining pitches and swings.
Still 2-2. So that part of spring training now is upon us.
What we don't know, Tim, is that the last bullpen session that Walker Buehler had, was there a pitch or two that he says, hey, next time out, this is what I'm going to work on? Yes, he wants to get the hitters out, but there's some work left, like an assignment. Okay, you leave the history class and you have an assignment. Okay, I need to read 3 chapters tonight. Well, which chapters are listed for today's work for Walker Buehler?
2-2 to Anderson.
Well,
vicious curveball. Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
Wow.
First batter in the ball game's a new dimension, folks, because this one is, how can it start that high and still be a strike? You need to get a very much of a contact hitter, and Anderson to strike him out.
Well, maybe that's the pitch he worked on.
Well, if that was on his homework page, he got an A on that part of homework.
Leori Garcia, 348 the spring, second baseman, fouls it off. Now, that's one of the things that most people don't get to see. What a pitcher does in between starts. You see him once every 5 days, and you have a favorite pitcher. You tune in when you know he's pitching. But you don't see the work that goes in on the days in between. Garcia just bloops one into left field. That's a base hit.
Got jammed to perfection. Yeah, the other part too is that all the other work that you're looking at, the work from not only from a physical standpoint, that's only part of it, but the work with the video. With the advancement now of the videotape, you can go back at different angles. You can analyze all of your mechanics.
There's a lot of mechanisms to do that now too. A lot of technology being used. Abreu takes a strike. And that's the thing. We don't know what, we're not privy to those conversations often unless we ask the questions and really dig in and have the access. Thanks to COVID, we don't have the same access we've had in years past, and we hope to have it again. But just to be able to talk to pitchers in between starts and say, what are you working on? Abreu, ground ball left side. That's off the glove of Rios and into left field. That'll be a hit for Abreu. 2 on and 1 out.
Well, there are different now categories of information that you can garner. It's not just velocity. Now you can get readouts. What's the spin rate on the fastball? Does it drop off at any particular time? It used to be, hey, is there a drop off in the velocity? What's the lateral movement? What's the vertical movement? Because now the technology, even in spring training games, all this equipment is set up, and you get a printout. You can see it.
Well, Buehler with traffic on the bases in the bottom of a scoreless first inning. Yoan Moncada takes some 94-mile-an-hour butane for a strike.
The other thing we're also seeing here early goings, we've seen Gavin Lux in our slot, as we see right now from the center field camera. We've also seen Taylor, depending on if there's a shift on or not.
0-2 to Moncada. You see where they're playing Moncada to pull, but Lux staying close to the bag at second. Tries the curveball. 0-2, misses inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big game butane. Walker Buehler goes today. He is really good when it counts the most. Ground ball to the right side. Taylor, long flip to second. That's the one they'll get. So they'll take a man out of scoring position. And on to third base goes Garcia. 2 men out.
Left fielder, batting fifth, number 74, Eloy Jimenez.
Moncada will reach on the fielder's choice. Eloy Jimenez, left fielder. This guy is another really good player that the White Sox have. They have done a nice job as an organization over the last few years, really rebuilding and getting into a position where they can contend not only in the American League Central, but in the American League as a whole now. I think you're going to see
began to go in that direction too, Tim, for a while, and they caught a little heat. And they just asked people and said, look, from Jerry Reinsdorf, from the ownership on down to management and then down on the field too, and said, look, we need to be patient. It's going to take a little bit of time. And now you begin to see things flourish. Tony La Russa now is at the helm, managing. And they reached the playoffs for the first time since 2008 last year, and they have very high expectations, and for good reason.
Buehler just tied up Jimenez up and in. Tony La Russa, one of the winningest managers of all time. Second stint with the White Sox. Oh, 2 popped him up. Foul. Tony La Russa has managed for 33 seasons. He was with the White Sox originally starting in 1979 and managed there till 1986. Then he went to Oakland, had some great teams in Oakland. And then St. Louis had some great teams there. Last winning the World Series in 2011.
Well, he's also an oddity because he retired in 2011. Then he was elected into Hall of Fame, and now he's coming back as a manager. And Tony's one of those deep thinking guys, former teammate with the A's.
1-2. Jimenez takes low. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Eloy Jimenez.
Tony La Russa played in 132 games. Made just 40 starts. But he injured his throwing shoulder. He was a second baseman primarily. He injured it during the offseason one year, playing a softball game with friends.
We're advancing to second, and this is going to get a run in. And a man to third with an errant throw by Austin Barnes. A really risky throw with a runner at third base anyway, and 2 out.
Well, yeah, no way to get around it. Just a horrible throw down to second base. And did a good job of keeping the ball in front of him. Went off the side a little bit. When he picked it up, really got a good look. He dropped down from the side to release the ball and make the throw instead of coming really from the ear slot and directly over the top, and a costly throw.
Error on Barnes, and came a pitch too early as Buehler takes care of things, striking out Jimenez. 1-0 White Sox after 1. The White Sox getting a little lucky, fortunate on this St. Patrick's Day. 1-0 on an error on the throw by Austin Barnes, allowing the game's only run to score. And now Will Smith will stand in there against Lucas Giolito. Smith, the DH this afternoon. And strike is called Will. 5 for 21. 238 average, no home runs. And he's driven in 2. Giolito winds, kicks, and fires. And Smith bangs this one to left and deep, and he has tied it up. Will Smith with a laser beam home run to left. It's 1-1.
Who gets the starting nod on opening day in Denver? 16 days away. As Barnes has hit well, he already has a base hit. Will Smith says, hey, here I am too. Giolito left a ball that kind of crept back over the middle of the plate, and he paid the price for it.
A little doubt about that one once it left the bat. Giolito allowing the home run. And Will Smith driving it out. So back to square one. 1-1. Here's Matt Beatty.
Is Matt Beatty in the mix to make the 26-man roster as an outfielder?
Playing some first base today. Showing some versatility. We have seen him at third in the past as well, but primarily as an outfielder. Handled easily on the left side of the infield for an out. 1 out. Beatty grounding out to Yoan Moncada.
The right fielder batting eighth, number 8, Zach McKinstry.
Zach McKinstry. He's had a good spring.
Yeah, there's another guy in that mix, Tim, and he's been a very good mix of what we have seen. Not only is he average up, but he's been playing a couple of different positions. I mean, let's look at it. Okay, Jock Peterson, left. He's no longer here. KK Hernandez, left. He's no longer here. So there's 2 slots that are open. Now, Hernandez was one of those multi-position players. Who's going to fill that role for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers this year? Who's going to fill the role for Jock Peterson?
And you'd say, well, one of them was a right-handed batter. Might that make a difference? But both of these guys are left-handed, both McKinstry and Beatty. But McKinstry can play other infield positions. He can play the middle infield positions, too, which makes him more valuable. Giolito's 2-1 offering to Zach McKinstry. 2-2.
Well, if you look at baseball over the last number of years as well, the multi-dimensional players have been able to find jobs and stay with ball clubs. And clubs are more receptive now to guys that can play and play well different positions.
3-2.
You know, you can always move somebody. Hey, can you go over and you play this position today? Yeah, sure. But for McKinstry, he's been able to show his wares and play different positions very well.
Ooh, strike 3 called. McKinstry goes down on a borderline strike. 2 men out.
Well, about the best thing I can say about the strike zone today, I'll use 2 words: dinner reservations.
It's about as wide as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
And the strike zone has some altitude to it as well.
It does. Well, generally the umpires rule in spring training: when in doubt, call them out.
Well,
This is Chris Siegel, home plate umpire today. Bruce Dreckman on the bases along with Dan Bellino. Bellino, the crew chief today, and Ben May also working the game. Peters late on the fastball from Giolito.
I still think of the comment that the great Hank Aaron said. He went to home plate early in his career, and his catcher told him, said, "Hey, you're holding the bat wrong. You need to hold the label up." And he goes, "I'm not here to read." And he wasn't.
He wasn't. He was there to hit him over the fence.
What a great player. What a gracious man. Henry Aaron.
So the Brewers wearing his number 44 patch, honoring the hammer. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, catching a corner.
Dinner reservations.
And that's strike 3.
And it must be the early bird special.
4 strikeouts for Giolito. He's got an appetite for strikes today. But Will Smith, an appetite for the long ball as he drives one out to tie the game. Bottom of the second inning, a 1-1 ball game. Luis Robert fouls the first pitch away from Walker Buehler. 0-1. Robert, pretty big in stature for a center fielder, but he can move. He's hitting .333 this spring. A home run, 2 runs knocked in. And the curveball is short hopped in and out of the glove of Taylor, who was right behind the bag. That had to have some English on it. Or maybe today you'd say it had some Irish on it.
You could see it from our angle, moving from left to right. So imagine trying to catch it. I mean, that, talk about a loop-de-doo.
And he hit a hard slider right at Taylor.
Taylor saying thanks.
Yeah. So Robert is aboard, and Adam Eaton, the batter. Eaton, and then Zach Collins, and then Yermin Mercedes. Quick throw to first base, and Robert gets back. Robert out of Ciego de Vila in Cuba. He's just 22 years old. And he's a really good player. He goes. Throw down by Barnes is there in time. He made the tag on the shoulder. Good job by Lux to finish that play.
Yeah, Lux, there was a great shot of going along as Lux, as the pitch was being made, glanced over, saw the runner was going to take off. He took off going to the bag, and a good call. Good tag.
It's a tough one to handle when the ball skips on you like that, covering the bag, and he did a good job. And
well, the other thing too, Tim, is that
down.
there are a lot of guys that say, hey, look, I want to take the throw not in front of the bag. I want to take the throw more on the bag. The reason? Because if you're reaching out to grab the throw, you are slower in coming back to make the tag.
Instead of just snapping it straight
Instead of letting
down.
the ball come to you more, and if you're on the bag, it's going to come much more rapidly than you can catch it and bring it back.
You see where watch where Lux positions
Lux
himself
comes
here.
over, and he takes the throw in front. Now, granted, he wanted to make sure that the ball did not go into center field and made a good job on that end of it. But his direction to the bag, is that where he wants to be?
Eaton bounces the curveball foul. Nothing into Daryl Boston with a nice play, first base coach. Yeah, you talk to infield instructors about this time and time again. How do you cover the bag? This is a question they often get.
Well, you'd rather go straight down with the tag than to reach out and bring it back and make the tag.
I guess there was a philosophy at some point in the game where they felt if you did cover it in front of the bag that you were closing the distance between yourself and the catcher, but then realizing that once you caught the ball, the tendency was to reach out in front of you. Now you have to bring it all the way back as Eaton goes down on strikes, and that just didn't work. So the infield instructors now are going to tell you straddle the bag, snap it straight down.
Another curveball by Walker Buehler. This one out of the strike zone, but I'll tell you, the curveball that he threw to Tim Anderson to strike him out looking, the first batter he faced today, was most impressive.
Really good. Now Zach Collins, the catcher. Collins has had a good spring too, 421. He's been hitting for the White Sox. Takes a ball.
This is the 8th batter that Walker Buehler has faced. That's the first time that he has thrown ball 1 on the first pitch.
Evens it up, 1-1. Yeah, he was 7 for 7 in first pitch strikes before Collins came to the plate. And gets ahead, 1-2.
Gas.
Buehler accepts the sign. He's ready. More gas. Late on that. That'll be in play. Lux will bounce it over there late. Well, a little luck of the Irish for Zach Collins, fighting off a fastball, and he ends up with a base hit.
And this was every bit of a fight. This ball is almost past him. Inside out swing.
That's what they call hitting it out of the catcher's mitt.
That base hit is only beautiful in the box score.
Looks like a line drive. Looks like he meant to do it. There's Yermin Mercedes. 6 for 22, 273 batters so far for the White Sox in Cactus League play. Walker gets ahead of him with another first pitch strike. He's 8 for 9. Now it's 0-2. 4-2 at his count for the green-hatted Buehler.
Yep. Do we see another hook here?
Why not? Wouldn't you like to see one?
Not if you're the hitter.
He didn't see it. High fastball. And it's 1-2. By the way, the Dodgers did announce a starter for tomorrow. For a while, they did not announce a starter, but tomorrow, David Price will go against Merrill Kelly over in Scottsdale as the Dodgers take on Arizona. Another day game tomorrow. So they'll try to get David Price on pace. A couple relievers, Mitch White and Brusdar Graterol threw bullpens today. They're expected to throw again in another few days. Dave's reports very good on both, saying that Graterol Spun a few sliders up there today that look good. Yeah, there's the curveball. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And Mercedes goes down. So no runs. 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. 1-1 after 2.
Authority of the Los Angeles Dodgers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Dodgers.
Your favorite Dodger Stadium eats are available at home through Dodgers home plates. From Dodger dogs to garlic fries and nacho helmets. Get a taste of the ballpark experience delivered on demand. Search for Dodgers home plates on Postmates and order your stadium favorites for the next game now. Well, we've got a cutout here today. I wonder if they needed a ticket for the cutout today. Chris Taylor takes a strike. Well, Taylor is 0 for 1. He went down looking in the first inning. Giolito sends one home. That's another strike. 1-2. Well, what Giolito did after the 2018 season to turn himself into an all-star is really nothing short of remarkable. I think like any player at any position, you do things at times where you question yourself and you question your methods, and is this working? How do I get better? And he figured it out. He strikes out Taylor. Gavin Lux walked his first time up. Lux, the shortstop, with a 1-0 count. Giolito turns and delivers, and that's high. You just think of Giolito and that high school team he was on at Harvard Westlake. 3 first-round draft choices in the pitching staff. Jack Flaherty, who's now a star with the Cardinals. Max Fried, who was really good, especially in the postseason last year with the Braves. And Giolito. 2 of them in the same grade. Flaherty was the younger of the 3. All those guys you played in high school with, Rick, said, hey, I played with a first rounder. You were the first one ever taken.
Most of them didn't even know who you're playing against at the time.
Yeah. Well, when you were playing, they didn't know there was a draft until you were drafted. But other than that, I mean, you've got 3 first rounders in the same pitching staff in high school. How do you ever lose?
You know, if you're the opposing team and pulling up in the bus and you're on the road to play them, you might want to have somebody get there maybe the night before, turn on the sprinklers.
Get him a rain out. 3-2 pitch. Inside ball 4, and for the second time, Gavin Lux has drawn a walk.
One of the great lines, the late Kenny Howell, who was a teammate and went on to be assistant pitching coach of the Dodgers, and we lost him way, way too soon. A wonderful man and a wonderful teacher, and he would get some of his pitchers together, including Kenley Jansen when he first came up. And he'd go around and ask the pitchers, hey, you're pretty good in high school, right? Says, yeah. In your league, were there 1 or 2 guys you had trouble getting out? Says, yeah. Says, they're both here.
Hope you sleep well.
Yeah. The other thing that Ken would say is that, hey, when you were playing another team at home, did they come up in a big yellow bus? Says, yeah. They don't do that here. Oh. But when he would ask, 1 or 2 guys in your league that you had trouble getting out? Yeah. They're both here.
And they're waiting for you. 1 on, 1 out. A.J. Pollock with an 0-1 count. Giolito set to go. And changing the grip in the glove, and he lets one go, and it's outside. 1-1.
Hitters are looking at pitches too, and going back to Giolito's delivery. You're trying to get timing, and Giolito just abbreviates out of the glove and his arm action. He goes straight from the glove, like up the side of his body to just above his shoulder. And again, from a hitter's visual standpoint, that's got to be difficult to see and to get a sense of timing.
We're trying as a hitter to pick up the release point. And then how do you, if you watch him here, you can.
Yeah, he goes up. He's really hiding the ball with the glove as it goes up the side of his body.
Where, as a hitter, would you be able to pick up his release point, do you think?
Well, you're trying to look right at the shoulder. If that's where the release point is, which for Giolito it is.
3-1 pitch. And AJ's popped up. Right center. Coming over is Eaton. 2 out.
There are some pitchers you can sit down and trying to analyze it and say, well, I have trouble seeing the ball out of this guy's hand when I see this guy, and it'll drive you kind of crazy because sometimes they're very similar type pitchers, and yet for some reason, whatever it is, from some pitchers you don't pick up the ball that easily, and with others it's like, hey, they're announcing what's coming. Unfortunately, those guys don't stay around too long.
Austin Barnes had a base hit first time up. 1 for 1 today. Giolito deals him a strike. Yeah, the way you point out how he releases the baseball is just how he gets to that release point is different than a lot of guys. Barnes smacks one into left center. That's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall. Rumbling around first is Barnes. Rumbling around third is Lux. He'll score all the way from first base. Running on contact with 2 down. And Austin Barnes has given the Dodgers a 2-1 lead.
Boy, just a great swing also. So Barnes is 2 for 2. Watch this one. This pitch, first of all, breaking ball, stayed up a little bit too much, and Barnes just absolutely annihilates it. Get a good look also. The other dimension that Gavin Lux brings to the dinner table is his speed. He runs the bases exceptionally well. And Barnes runs well. Forget the fact he's a catcher.
Yeah, he does get around the base as well.
Whereas Barnes matriculated not too far from Camelback Ranch, Glendale, Arizona State. Was a second baseman when he's playing with the Sun Devils.
Edwin Rios with a 1-0 count.
Got to make sure I got that plug in there.
That's your second one today, but I'm keeping track.
Yeah. There might be a couple more.
A visit to Giolito right here as his pitch count's getting up. 56.
Yeah, Ethan Katz, the pitching coach.
We're just talking about Barnes and, of course, Will Smith, who hit the home run in the second inning. Dodger catchers today, 3 for 3. With a double and a home run. The rest of the team, 0 for 7, rather 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts. So the catchers are holding their own today. Will Smith on deck. 2 outs, a run in. Dodgers have taken a lead in the third. Giolito's offering to Rios. 2-1.
Rios is not, at least from what we have seen in some of the games, has not really dialed in the swing. The powerful swing that we have seen over the last couple of years. The timing has not quite been there. I got fooled on off speed there. First time up, chased a high fastball as he struck out.
Full count now to Edwin Rios.
You know, for the guys like Rios too, that comes on today hitting $118 was all. He knows that there are 16 days left until the first game, official game of the season in Denver. But he does not want the clock to run out before he dials in the swing.
Strike three taken on the inside edge. Rios goes down on strikes for the second time today. But the Dodgers get a run on a double from Austin Barnes and lead it after 2.5 innings. Buehler now pitching with a lead for the first time today. Will face the White Sox in the bottom of the third inning. Tim Anderson will lead off. It's in and out of the glove of Barnes for a strike, 0-1. The White Sox getting a run in the top of the first inning on a throwing error by Barnes. Dodgers tied it in the second on a home run by Will Smith. Went ahead in the third. Lux a walk and Barnes a 2-out double. Ground ball towards short to his glove side is Lux. He can't make the play. And Anderson is aboard with a base hit.
Second baseman number 20, Leury Garcia.
They're not playing Anderson up the middle. There's where Anderson. He has it's like a frequent flyer as far as getting on base. Last year, the average dropped off at only .322 after winning the American League batting crown the year before.
Leury Garcia, first ball swinging. Rios to Lux. And Beatty covering. Beatty to Lux to Beatty. And a double play, and the base is clear. That takes care of Anderson's single.
Coming off the bag. Just make sure he stepped inside one step. Make sure he did not hit the runner. Well, the biggest thing is make sure you make a good throw before you get back to the bag. That's exactly what they did.
Abreu takes one at the knees for strike one.
And we're seeing multiple positions played, and it's just a nice play for Beatty, who's not been down at first base every day.
A good point on what you talked about. While he was making the throw, you got to step inside that baseline. How many times have you seen guys not do that, hit the runner in the back? Oh, 2 to Abreu. And that's poked to Beatty. To Buehler, and in time to get him. Well, it's Matt Beatty's world. We're just living in it this inning. As Beatty knocks it down, never gave up on it. And Buehler hustling over to the bag just in the nick of time. Came up to lead off the second inning. He tied the game with this blast off of Lucas Giolito. First home run of the spring for Will Smith. He will start the inning off at the plate again here in the fourth of a 2-1 Dodger lead. With Rick Monday, Tim Neverett, glad you're tuned in. Watching Dodger baseball today, no matter where you happen to be. Dodgers 8-5-3 in spring training. Nobody's, worried about winning the Cactus League or not.
Well, spring records. If your team's had a bad season and you have a good spring, okay, fine, we're on the right track.
Into right center. And Adam Eaton there to make the catch.
But the records for spring training this year, in my estimation, are extremely watered down. Here's one of the reasons. You have uncle innings, what we have referred to as uncle innings earlier on, where you had a pitcher that would reach 20 pitches in a single inning. You say, hey, no, we're going to call it off.
Uncle.
You shorten games, 7 innings, which tomorrow's game is going to be 7.
We understand that, yes. Tomorrow will be a 7-inning game with the Diamondbacks.
You can resubstitute pitchers. In other words, take them out of a game and then put them back into a game.
Saw that happen with with Josh Lindblom yesterday. And with Julio Urias a couple of days ago, he was re-entered.
But the Dodgers a couple of times, one in particular, they had bases loaded, and the other team had the high pitch count. They cried, "Okay, uncle," because it's to protect the pitchers. And I think it's a great rule, but I think it really diminishes the overall importance of keeping track of what is their win-loss record in spring training.
Beatty goes the other way, but it will be playable for Eloy Jimenez.
But I will also be the first one to say 8-0 plays much better than 0-8. I don't care if it's spring training. I don't care if it's tiddlywinks, whatever it is.
Winning's better than losing, no matter what it is. And Giolito getting a visit here. He's going to get a visit from the skipper, and that's going to do it. 65 pitches exactly. So he's reached his pitch count, and Tony La Russa says, "You're done for the day." Regular season game live or on demand with MLB.tv, online or on your favorite supported devices, as well as select spring training games. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Evan Marshall takes over for Lucas Giolito, who reached his pitch count of 65. So Evan Marshall has been punching some tickets here in spring training. He has struck out 10 of the 15 batters he has faced over his first 4 Cactus League stints. Four and 2/3 innings so far, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Nobody's done anything against him. McKinstry looks at a breaking ball for a strike. Smith flied to right, Beatty flied to left. 2 outs, bases empty. Dodger half of the 4th inning. Oh and 2 now to McKinstry. Zach looking to get the ball in play here, but he's behind in the count. He does put it in play to deep right center field. Going back on it is the center fielder, Luis Robert. Makes the catch a couple of feet in front of the warning track. So McKinstry gave the ball a ride, but nothing to show for it as the Dodgers fly out to all parts of the forest in the 4th. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers. 1 run, 4 hits, and an error for the White Sox. We move to the Chicago half of the 4th inning. Rick Monday, Tim Neverett, glad you're along with us for the St. Patrick's Day ride of Cactus League Baseball. Walker Buehler back out there in the 4th. 45 pitches to this point in the game for Walker. 36 of them for strikes, so he has an 80% strikes percentage right now. First pitch to Moncada is a strike. He is now 12 out of 13 in the game in terms of first pitch strikes.
Well, I love that shot on that pitch, because there you are, folks. This is the view that you would get that Gavin Lux has got at shortstop right now. You see Lux, that ball was away. He was anticipating. He was leaning to his right. So you're not really following the pitch on the way to home plate as a fielder, but you're looking at the strike zone. That shot gives you really a good definition of how the infielders set up. And they may be leaning on one pitch, the ball that's fouled off one direction or the other one.
2-1 to Moncada. Now it's 2-2.
We saw Lux again. Fouled off, and he's breaking to his right.
And what are the keys for a fielder in terms of how they're going to react to the pitch, whether they're going to go to the right, the left?
Well, I saw a bigger picture from a little longer distance in center field for so many years. But you're not watching the flight of the ball going to home plate. Why? Well, it's too difficult to see the ball going 90 miles an hour to the plate and maybe 100 and something in the other direction. So the ball's going to be hit primarily in the strike zone. That is your viewpoint.
See where Lux has moved with 2 strikes, and that pitch just missing down and in, and that's a ball, and that's a walk. So Moncada aboard.
That viewpoint also, Tim, that's what makes it so difficult. If you're primarily playing on one side of the infield for most of your career, and then they're going to make a move, like going from, say, from first base to third base, it is a totally different dynamic as far as visualizing the game itself.
Dodgers left side infielders in their ready positions, and Eloy Jimenez fouls one off, strike one.
So you know you're going to get a text again, don't you? You're talking about Buehler and 80% strikes, and what happens as soon as you mention it? A walk.
Yeah,
it's your fault.
Yeah, my fault.
You're going to hear about it.
Oh, it just came in.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's never the broadcaster's fault. There's a ground ball toward third. Rios up with it, goes to second. Taylor hangs on, fires to first, not in time. Jimenez beats it out.
Taylor did a good job of just making sure that throw did not go into right field. Rios really had much more time in order to set himself in order to make a good throw. But watch, Taylor comes across the bag. Had to go to an odd angle to begin with. They had to shift on to the left side. So not only catching the ball, able to keep his right foot on the second or left foot on the second base bag.
Still made it a close play. Luis Robert, big cut and a miss. Robert is 0 for 1. He reached on an error by Taylor in the second inning. Oh, and 2.
Isn't it nice also to see in the stands, not only the fans, and hopefully there are going to be more, but also scouts, major league scouts.
Wow, 1, 2, 3. Buehler wasn't fooling around there.
No, it was like he got a little angry. So what Tim was talking about, my high percentage of strikes being thrown, I walk a guy, he's getting hammered on social media, I've got to come back and throw strikes.
Guarantee that was not in his head and probably never will be.
No, and what we say, what any other broadcaster says, has nothing to do with what happens on the field, including a pitcher's going along is not allowed to hit. 6 or 7 or 8 or 8 1/3 or 8 2/3 innings.
Nothing in 1-2. Adam Eaton, who struck out swinging first time up, and he finds himself in a hole. 0-2.
And Lux again moving to his right when he saw that ball, and then Lux looking into the dugout. Okay, now where do you want me with 2 strikes?
We saw that earlier with Moncada, that he backed up, and he does it again here by playing more toward the middle than he was with Moncada. For Eaton, curveball missing. 1-2. Yeah, so many subtle movements, subtle adjustments and positioning during the course of the game. I think a lot of people don't notice many of them.
Yeah, I love this shot right here from the center field camera. It's off a little bit more than maybe some of the other ballparks, but you feel like you're part of the game. I mean, this is what the infielders are seeing right now, folks.
That one is toward the right of Lux. Gets it on to first base. Throw just off the mark, but Eaton gets down the line well. And that'll be a base hit for Adam Eaton.
So they, Lux looked into the dugout. Where do you want me to play? Left-handed batter with 2 strikes. They said, well, up the middle versus going the opposite way a little bit more with 2 strikes.
You like what Beatty did there?
Yeah.
Coming off to catch it first.
Well, you have to come off the bag, because if you don't come off the bag and you don't field it, that runner that was going to second base will have a chance to come around and score.
2 on, 2 out, and Zach Collins takes ball 1.
It's like in a tight game, you've got a runner at second base. Let's say it's even a tie game, and you've got a bad throw coming to first base. Do you try and stay on the bag and make the catch and get the out, or are you trying to protect the game and the score and come off the bag, or make sure you get in front of the ball and smother it so it doesn't get by you? There's a lot of thought process that has to take place on every play.
So a player has to contemplate the best worst case scenario.
To what's the best outcome at that moment for his team.
2-1 to Zach Collins. Collins an infield single in the second inning. White Sox have had at least one hit in each inning so far, but have managed just the one run. And a stab right there. Nice play by Lux. Lux was positioned well. Able to get the leather around the baseball before it hit the grass. Gavin Lux. Great defensive play. Ends the fourth. World champion Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. It's Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event. So go and get an amazing deal on a new Camry.
Amazing shot. Dave Roberts and Dino Evil, third base coach. And what a way to wrap up Dave Roberts' 5th year at the helm of the Dodgers, and this year beginning and what's in store in his 6th.
Good way to wrap up the day for Buehler, too. 64 pitches, just one off the target. Liam Hendriks could be a big acquisition for the White Sox, coming out of the back end of the bullpen from Perth, Australia. Hendricks has been around. He's been with the Twins, came up with the Twins, Royals, and most recently the Athletics. And he can fire it, as DJ Peters can attest to just now, as Hendricks put one past him for strike one. Peters went down looking in the second inning. 0-for-1 this afternoon. Here's Hendricks' pitch. Snaps one in there a little high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hendricks comes from an athletic family. His dad was an Australian rules football player. And his grandfather also played. But baseball pretty big in Australia. They have their own league, which we would call the winter because they're on the other side of the equator. It's warmer down there during our winter. But they have a pretty competitive professional league as he strikes out Peters. And there's one gone for the Dodgers in the 5th. Chris Taylor 0-for-2. He's punched out twice. To deal with Hendricks, you have to be aware of the two-seamer. He will throw the sinker quite a bit. Four-seamer in the high 90s. Like that one there. And it's 0-1 to Taylor.
He's enjoying the pitching today in Arizona more so than Chicago. Currently, wind chills 27 in the Windy City. And this evening, 100% chance of rain.
That sounds like fun.
And it sounded like Hendricks was not real pleased with that pitch he just made.
He was not. He was not. But he's been pleased with a lot of pitches he's thrown. You look at his numbers over the last couple of seasons. He's been one of the top ERA guys in all of baseball. 1.79. That's second in Major League Baseball over the last 2 years. Just doesn't give up many runs. Kenley Jansen getting ready to come in for the Dodgers. He'll pitch in the bottom of the 5th. We'll also see Corey Knebel today. Expect to see Scott Alexander perhaps out of the bullpen, maybe even James Pazos. A non-roster invite, left-hander trying to make the club. But in the meantime, Hendricks, a player that the White Sox are going to be counting on to finish up games, to shorten games for them. You look at the American League Central Division, Mo, you got to think that it's going to be maybe a two-horse race between the White Sox and the Twins. Cleveland usually finds a way. Detroit starting over again. A.J. Hinch, the new manager. Of course, George Lombard has moved from being Dodger first base coach to the bench coach of the Tigers.
It's going to be a little bit of a project in Tiger Town.
Did he go? No, he didn't. 3-2. And get the Royals. And I don't think that the general consensus is that the Royals will be battling for the title. But right now everybody's even, so everybody's got the same chance up until April 1st. And the games begin to count. But there are a lot of hopes on the south side of Chicago.
Well, you better believe it.
This team's going to do something this year. Oh, Taylor smacks one toward the middle. Good backhanded stab by Garcia, and he got it to first. Well, that was a hot shot toward the middle, and Leury Garcia made a great play on Taylor to retire him.
Another reason it's so hard to hit for average. You do your job as a hitter, you hit a rocket, and on the opposite side, Garcia makes just a stellar play.
Two gone. Gavin Lux, the batter. He's walked twice today, scored once, scored the go-ahead run in the third, came in on Austin Barnes' 2-out run-scoring double. Zipped in for a strike. Lux pops it up. Long run for Jimenez, but he'll get there. He'll make the catch, and for the second straight inning, Dodgers done in order. A clean inning for Liam Hendriks. He looks to be pretty pleased with his performance. Afternoon for Walker Buehler. 4 innings, 64 pitches, 5 hits. Left 2 men on in the last inning, 4 men on total. Just allowed the first run in the first inning. And Kenley Jansen will come on now to pitch in the bottom of the 5th against the White Sox with a 1-run lead. This will be his 5th Cactus League appearance. So for Buehler, not a bad afternoon. Did not give up an earned run. That run in the first inning was unearned. We should point that out. Well, Kenley Jansen to face Yermin Mercedes, designated hitter for the White Sox. Starts him off with a strike. Kenley has had 4 outings, 4 scoreless innings, 6 strikeouts. Had 11 saves last year, going 3-1.
Dave Roberts earlier today, about a half hour prior to game time, had a Zoom conference call with some of the members of the media, and he was asked, well, when Jansen comes in, or any of your pitches for that matter, are you really concerned in looking at the radar gun, what the readout is, miles per hour? His eye says, yes, we look at
92 for
92.
Jansen.
He also went on to say he's not that concerned with the velocity of Kenley Jansen at the present time. What he is looking at, not concerned, but looking at and watching, is the command of the strike zone.
Commanded it well there as he strikes out Mercedes for the first out of the Chicago 5th. A third time around for the shortstop Tim Anderson. Starts him off with a strike. Again, 92.
At 92. I mentioned Dave Roberts beginning his 6th year at the helm of the Dodgers. You begin to look at what Dave has done, what his teams have done. His winning percentage is the best in baseball during his 5 years at the helm. 436 victories, 273 losses. Yes, he's had good teams, but he and his coaching staff and the front office and baseball operations, look at the entire organization, have done just a very good job, including the scouting, because we're seeing now the payoff for all the scouting with these younger players that are coming on.
Makes quick work of Anderson, and that's 2 strikeouts for Kenley. Again at 92.
Yeah.
So 6 pitches.
And it has been consistent. He's gonna build it up. You know, will we see the 95 and 96 on a consistent basis for Kenley Jansen? Well, we don't know. Occasionally there were times last year that we saw it. But there were also times we saw Jansen come in the first pitch or two in relief was at 89 or 90. And then it built up higher.
No chance for an immaculate inning there. He had 6 strikes, 2 strikeouts on 6 pitches, and he started off Garcia with a ball. He did have a 9-pitch inning with 2 strikeouts against Colorado in his first outing of the spring. Omar Estevez is in at shortstop now for the Dodgers. 1-1 to Garcia. But 92, I think, with Kenley, with his velocity, I think you'd be happy with 92.
I think, yeah. And I think, too, if he gets back to the movement on the cut fastball and location. Now, that's a cutter. And I think that Garcia thought he had it dialed in pretty well. That was, again, at 92 miles an hour. But the late movement got right in the hands of the hitter. To me, that's a better sign than looking at what the radar gun is. I mean, it's only a couple of miles an hour, a little bit down, but that good cutter just tied up Garcia.
Did he go? Nope. 2-2. I think the Kenley Jansen we've seen this spring is a Kenley Jansen on a mission, because you know, you saw what happened last year. There were times when he wasn't what he's used to being.
The other thing that Roberts was alluding to a little bit, didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about it. He said, but you know, Kenley has dropped a few pounds coming into camp.
2-2 to Leury Garcia with Abreu on deck. And Kenley completes the first 1-2-3 inning of the White Sox this afternoon. Strikes out the side. Well, Kenley. 1-2-3 they go. The Dodgers up 2-1. Pretty solid outing, to say the least, for Kenley Jansen. 3 punch outs. Take too many pitches to do it, and the velocity was up to 92. So good to see that. New pitcher for the White Sox as we start the 6th inning. It's Aaron Bummer out of the University of Nebraska. Went to high school in Arizona and close to Glendale, actually, Peoria. Born in Santa Clarita in Valencia. So here is Aaron Bummer. He'll pitch to A.J. Pollock. Third at bat for A.J. this afternoon. He's flied to center, flied to right. 0 for 2. Nothing at 1 to A.J. Dodgers play another day game tomorrow. It'll be over in Scottsdale at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick against the Arizona Diamondbacks. David Price scheduled to go for the Dodgers. Merrill Kelly for Arizona. We'll have that game for you right here. Rick and I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, TV and radio.
We understand projected for just 7 innings tomorrow.
One bounce foul. Actually, I think tomorrow's just TV only, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, 7 innings. Yeah, it is TV only, and looks like Kirsten Watson will join us again tomorrow. So A.J. behind in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 27-year-old lefty Aaron Bummer on the hill. Last year, only 9 appearances with the White Sox, went 9 1/3 innings total. Slings it outside, evening the count, 2-2. Originally, Bummer was drafted by the Yankees. He was a 31st round pick out of high school, but he wanted to be a Cornhusker, so he went to Nebraska instead. And now with the White Sox, he strikes out A.J. Pollock. 1 down for the Dodgers in the 6th.
Number 15, Austin Barnes.
Austin Barnes has had a good afternoon. 2 for 2, single double, and a run driven in. And he goes the other way, foul. Clayton McCall would go down there and chase it down. New first base coach for the Dodgers this year.
Infield single the first time, and then just a solid double to left center a second time up.
Oh, 2 to Barnes. Barnes will catch his share of games. Last year he caught 9 out of the 10 Kershaw starts. Kershaw goes opening day this year. And it is an interesting question you brought up earlier in the game. Who'll start opening day behind the plate? Oh, strike 3 call.
Early bird special is still on the menu.
Yeah, and Chris Siegel, the home plate umpire, hearing about it.
It will not ruin his appetite.
Nope.
Oh.
It's all right. I mean, these guys are zeroing in their sights too. You don't like to see it as a hitter, but it happens. Edwin Rios will take a strike. Danny Mendick, by the way, is the infielder you see at shortstop now for Tim Anderson for Chicago. One ball, 1 strike. Let's see, we've seen 1, 2, 3, and now 1, 2. So 5 straight strikeouts. I think if you go back to the, no, that wasn't a strikeout in the 5th to end the inning. So 5 straight right now. 6 of the last 8 outs have come by strikeout. Aaron Bummer kicks and fires, and Edwin Rios strikes out. So the last 6 outs in the ball game have come by way of the strikeout as Bummer comes out of the White Sox bullpen and strikes out the side. Team news and ticket information straight to your inbox. Register for Dodgers email alerts by visiting Dodgers.com/newsletter today. Hamster got his St. Patrick's Day hat, and Corey Knebel has his hat and socks going today. 2-1 Dodgers as we go to the White Sox half of the 6th inning. Knebel takes over for Kenley Jansen. A great outing. And Knebel, his 5th spring training appearance, facing Jose Abreu, and he rifles in a strike. What have you liked about Knebel so far?
There's nothing dainty about the way that he throws. First of all, you go to home plate, you're going to get challenged.
Curveball for strike 2.
Yeah, that's just a late breaker too, and the hitters, as we've seen a couple of different times, besides here, and Abreu will attest to it, they have a tendency to give up on that breaking ball. He throws it hard. It starts high and it comes down.
to left field. Out there to play it is Ryan Noda. Noda has taken over in left for Pollock.
Third baseman number 10.
Breaking ball left up a little bit too much out over the plate. But we talk about the second base position. Who's going to win that position as a starter? Who will start opening day behind the plate?
Says gas past Yoan Moncada.
What's the makeup of the bullpen?
That's a really good question, too. How many pitchers do you start the season with?
You can also ask the question, what's the makeup of the starting rotation? They go with 5, they go with 6 to begin with.
Wouldn't shock me if they added an additional starter.
Dave Roberts was asked yesterday about the pitching staff overall, and the question was, well, Dave, have you guys had discussions? Do you have an idea on how many pitchers you may break camp with? And he said probably 13.
0-2 to Moncada.
So if you start to look at the starting pitching, again, is it 5 or is it 6 to begin with? If it's 5, well, you know the number of relievers that you're going to have in the bullpen. We've not seen Joe Kelly yet.
They've got him on the arm, so Moncada goes down to first.
And you were talking earlier about Mr. Gratterall. He's 25 pitches, and including some good sliders in a bullpen session today, but he's running out of time, at least to break with the camp and be on the 26-man roster, unless there's just something that really unfolds very well for him.
Eloy Jimenez at the plate. Pinch runner Billy Hamilton has snuck into the game. Hamilton, a speedster, still can run. Might have had his best seasons when he was with Cincinnati. Bottom of the 6th inning, 1 on, 1 out, 2-1 Dodgers. Knebel holding on the hill, and Hamilton goes back to the back. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many questions. Not as many questions as other ball clubs have, fortunately, but a lot of questions about pitching and what's going to happen. When you look at the schedule, you know on April 1st who's starting. Clayton Kershaw. There goes Hamilton. Got a good jump. Barnes not even going to make a throw. A stolen base for Billy Hamilton.
Well, Hamilton came in, signed a minor league contract. He is one of the, to me, he has been a mystery guy. No mystery about the speed. I mean, that has been a given. Mystery to me, and I would ask people, various clubs that he's been with, I'd ask the question, does Hamilton work on bunting? And the answer has universally been, not very much. But when you're hitting around the Mendoza line and you can absolutely fly, why not bring the infield in a little bit more and show the bunt? Even if it's just a showpiece. If they stay back, your speed, you don't have to lay down a perfect bunt to be on base.
He could be a weapon, but I would think with that kind of speed, he's probably been told this. If he hasn't, I'd be surprised that you've got to experiment with any way possible getting on base, because as long as he's on, he is a threat to score. Yeah. He's one of those guys that if you walk him, it can be as valuable to him as a triple. A double at least. But pinch running, stealing second base easily without a throw. And he represents the tying run here.
I mean, you have an on-base percentage with his speed below 300. And he's done that 5 different years.
In the air, right field. waiting for it. McKinstry does a good job of getting that ball in quickly to keep Hamilton at second base.
Well, we know that Tony La Russa, if he can find a way to have Billy Hamilton and really use him in key spots, Tony's not going to be adverse to doing that. Someone called me last week about Tony. Said, well, a former teammate, did it surprise you that he became a manager? And I said, yes and no. It did not surprise me that he became a manager from his baseball knowledge and always the analytical approach to the game. What surprised me was, here's a guy that has his Juris Doctor degree. He passed the bar in Florida, out of Florida State. I said, I thought he might just stay with law, but Tony came out and said he would rather ride minor league buses than to practice law for a living every day.
Sure, a lot of lawyers, if you ask the same question to, would trade it. Some wouldn't. A lot wouldn't. Well, there's probably some out there that say, yeah, if I could do that, I'd
but
do it.
He was always analyzing games, Tim. And I said, too, he didn't play a great number of games, and his career was cut short because of a shoulder injury, playing softball again with friends.
1-1, did he go? Yes, says home plate umpire Chris Siegel. 2 outs, Hamilton at second. Yeah, but he's managed teams to 3 different World Series titles, 1 with Oakland, 2 with St. Louis. Robert fouls it off. What does he need? 35 wins, I think. Somewhere like that. 32, 35 wins. If he gets that, he's going to move into second all time. He'll pass John McGraw, and he'll only trail Connie Mack.
Yeah. But he's already in the Hall of Fame as a manager.
Yeah. And he's going to add to his win total. He's got a good ball club. He could add a lot to the win total. Hamilton with a walking lead. Now Robert pulls this one foul.
Yeah, the White Sox should be very interesting to watch this year. You look at teams coming into spring training and with all the possibilities, the Dodgers defending a world championship, and whether it be the Dodgers, the White Sox, or anyone else, you just hope that all of the organizations can stay healthy and present the best opportunity that they have on the field for the entire season.
1-2 to Robert. Got him. So Knebel strikes him out. He hits Moncada. Hamilton runs, steals second, and is stuck there. Good job from Knebel. Cactus League schedule rolls on tomorrow, 1 p.m. over in Scottsdale. The Diamondbacks will host the Dodgers. David Price will pitch against Merrill Kelly in that one. And back to Under the Lights on Friday for the Rangers. Day game Saturday with the Padres. Night game Sunday with the Giants. Same Monday with the Mariners. All games right here on Sportsnet LA. With Rick Monday, I'm Tim Neverett. Happy you're with us. Watching some baseball on this St. Patrick's Day. Will Smith facing a new pitcher. And that is Jose Ruiz. Aaron Bummer looked pretty good, striking out the side. Now Ruiz takes over and delivers a strike to Will Smith. Smith the DH today. 1 for 2 with a home run. 1 ball, 1 strike offering. Two balls, 1 strike. Well, St. Patrick's Day, you know, you always see the green hats, got the green socks, sometimes the green bases. No green bases here today, but spring training tradition. Glad to see it back. Green rosin bag today. A white rosin bag with the green sock next to it. See the sock out there on the mound. You know, baseball's always got great names, right? So looking around at some names that might have something to do with St. Patrick's Day. Former players. Came up with a couple. One of the better names, Lucky Wright. Lucky Wright. Played for Cleveland in the American League, 1909. Wasn't all that lucky.
I was going to ask, how lucky was he?
He wasn't lucky. He made 5 starts. He pitched 3 complete games, but only finished 1 of them. So that'll tell you something. He had a record of 0-4. Right-handed pitcher.
So Lucky didn't stick around that long.
No, and here's why he really wasn't that lucky. He walked 7, struck out 5 that year, but Will Smith draws the walk, and the leadoff man is aboard. Ruiz walks him. But he allowed 16 runs, 10 of them earned. So he had 6 unearned runs. That was not too lucky.
A lot of hitters were, though.
They were. So that was Lucky Wright, 1909 with Cleveland.
He wasn't exactly Lucky Charms, was he?
No. He was not. Dodgers had a guy. Matt Beatty stands in, and he'll take a strike. Guy finished his career with Brooklyn in 1927, but Irish Musial, a left fielder, 1914, came up with the Washington Senators, and he played for the Phillies once he returned from World War I. He was off in the service for 3 years and then came back and performed for the Phillies and the New York Giants. In 1923, he had 125 RBIs that year, 19 home runs. Finished his career with Brooklyn in 1927, where he hit .243 with a homer and 7 runs batted in only 42 games. That was Irish Musial. 0-2 pitch. That's fouled back. But I really had to dig for the last one.
Oh, and I'm sure you did.
I had to dig for this one. 1938 in the Mountain State League. Steve Shamrock played for the Beckley Bengals in Beckley, West Virginia. 1938.
And?
Couldn't find a stat on him. I was unlucky.
No, he was the lucky one.
He was probably lucky. So Matt Beatty not so lucky as he looks at strike 3. I think Steve Shamrock would have liked that hat. McKinstry is 0 for 2 today. 1 on, 1 out. 2-1 Dodgers batting in the 7th. All right, I found one more. That's the last one.
Promise?
Yep. Yep.
That's like Karnak and Magnificent, and I'm going to say, and here's the final envelope.
Promise. Just one more.
Okay.
Here's the pitch, and that's in there for a strike too, Zach. Irish McKelveen, who was a right fielder and a pitcher. 1906 with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and in 1908, 07 and 08 with the Yankees. Wasn't very lucky. Did not have a home run in his entire career. 0. 8 career RBIs over 3 major league seasons. So with men on base, he wasn't very lucky. With no home runs, he couldn't even drive himself in.
And Irish's last name was?
McKelveen.
Okay.
I'm sure there's more, but that's all I'm going to offer today. Some people are saying thank you.
Not if they're Irish.
Oh.
All right. Have some Irish heritage. Okay.
Gotta like the Sox.
Yeah, but you don't like the bruises.
No.
Especially when you foul a ball off your back leg.
2-2 with Will Smith drawing a walk to lead off the inning. 1 on, 1 out, 2-ball, 2-strike count to McKinstry. Foul tipped it in to the catcher's mitt for strike 3.
Center fielder
2 down.
DJ Peters.
So Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate, down on one knee. David Bassett has listened to our broadcast. He's had to put up with me for a number of years, and he knows I am mystified as to catchers who catch from one knee or sit down and catch, in particular with runners on base or with 2 strikes, and especially with runners at third. Lucroy did right there with a runner at first base. And so he sent me something, and finally somebody with the Red Sox organization came out and said, well, what they had discovered or reinvented or just made up is that they want to keep their catchers fresh.
Well, then get him a little sitting stool.
Get them a rocking chair.
Yeah.
And then they can move the rocking chair off to the side when the game starts. But maybe tomorrow I'll go into a little bit more of what the Red Sox and there are other teams that are thinking along the same route. And now with 2 strikes, I hate to say, well, it used to be, because someone said, well, yeah, you're also yelling to get off my yard, the front lawn. No, that's not the case. Your range is limited laterally. You have a runner, a pitch in the dirt now. If you're not going to field it because you don't have lateral movement, the batter runner is going to get on. Another run will be in scoring position.
DJ Peters puts it in play to the left side. They'll get the force out at second base. And that will do it. It is stretch time. Middle of the 7th. Dodgers leading the White Sox 2-1. Up on your new World Series champions gear. Top of the Park store is open Tuesday through Saturday at Dodger Stadium. See Instagram at Dodgers Top of the Park for store hours and details on how to purchase for home delivery. Scott Alexander takes over in the bottom of the 7th. Dodgers up 2-1 here. Fifth appearance for Alexander. Corey Knebel good. Kenley Jansen really good. Walker Buehler pretty good today. Dodger pitching continues to be a big strong point here in the spring. Adam Eaton, the right fielder, batting for the 3rd time, and he takes a strike from Alexander. Well, coming into the game today, the Dodger pitching staff 2nd in the major leagues in ERA, 3.39. They lead the Cactus League in both opponent average against, 2.31, and WHIP at just 1.16. Walks, hits, and innings pitched. 0-2 to Eaton. Alexander delivers. Popped up. Shallow left center. Peters over, but Noda will handle it. And Eaton is done. He's 1 for 3. 1 out of the White Sox 7th inning.
Alexander gets such good movement on his pitches. It very seldom throws something that is straight. Changes speeds very well. When he changes speeds, it does not have to be by 10 miles an hour. A couple of miles an hour can really throw off the timing of a hitter.
Jonathan Lucroy batting, takes a ball. Lucroy looking for a spot as backup catcher now in his career. Went to Boston last year, played 1 game. That was enough, apparently. Now trying to make this White Sox club. The last time, a week and a half or so ago, when we saw him, just reminded folks that at one time when he was the regular catcher for the Brewers. He was an all-star and one of the best hitting catchers in the game. Takes a strike and it's 2-1.
Yeah, he's just a good contact guy and really the prime part of his career.
He was the starting catcher on the gold medal winning World Baseball Classic team for the United States, managed by Jim Leyland. 2017. In 2012, he hit .320 for the Brewers. Drives one toward left center, and that's going to get down, and Peters cuts it off and holds Lucroy to a very long single.
Well, this is just a terrific play. And for Peters, he's one of the young outfielders that has really been most impressive from a defensive standpoint. And for him to get the jump, of course, he had the position pretty right to begin with as far as his alignment. But he's playing way over. And the fact that he's able to reach out and grab this ball and stop it from going to the wall, it's a double. Probably for Lucroy, and for somebody with better speed, possibly a triple, but just a good play in getting to the baseball.
Lucroy knows about doubles. He had a career high 53 in 2014, an all-star
year. He
year.
hit a lot of them. Lucroy's career high in any one season with 18 home runs. That was it for as far as the power department.
Yermín Mercedes has struck out twice. Ropes this one to left, right about head high for Noda. 2 down.
All the young players that we have seen with the Dodgers that we've been hearing about, with only a couple of exceptions, have really played well and got the attention, whether it be defensively or from an offensive standpoint. I think the other thing that sticks out even more to me is the acuity of the game itself, the feeling of the game. There's some young guys that have seen action early on, and they have not appeared to be lost on the field.
They know what they're doing, know where they're supposed to be, and they don't get caught up in the uniform they're wearing or the other uniform.
What was it, 3 days ago the Dodgers had less than a stellar game? I mean, it was just one of those games. It was square peg round hole. It just didn't fit.
Alexander delivers to Mendick, who tries to bunt right out in front of the plate. Tim Fedorovich there to field it and throw him out and end the inning. No runs, a hit, a man left. And we will head to inning number 8. Dodgers still with a 1-run lead. Top of the 8th inning, 2-1 Dodgers. A delicious afternoon in Glendale. With Rick Monday, Tim Neverett, glad you're with us today on the St. Patrick's Day. Dodgers, White Sox. Chris Taylor will lead off, facing Jose Ruiz. Ruiz will start his second inning of work. Ruiz, a converted catcher, and was converted as recently as 2016. The White Sox feel he is somebody who's going to help them out of the bullpen. And Taylor puts one toward the wall, and that's going to be off the wall. Adam Engel will field it, and it is a first pitch leadoff double for Chris Taylor.
He got a slider look like to his liking and goes with it. There's a lot of room in his outfield.
Andy Burns will come in and pinch run for Taylor. So Taylor's day done. He'll finish 1 for 4. And Omar Estevez batting in Gavin Lux's spot. He's been out there shortstop for him the last 2 innings. So CT3 with a good day, all in all. Finishes up strong with that double. So an insurance run in scoring position with Burns out there, and Jose Ruiz with the high set. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Neither team has scored since the third inning, and that double ends an 0 for 13 streak by the Dodgers since Barnes' double back in the third. Nothing in 2 to Estevez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ruiz originally was part of the Padres organization. They signed him in 2011, and they developed him. And then 6 years later, the White Sox claimed him off of waivers. That's into left field, a base hit. Burns will hold at third base, and Estevez has a single.
A little jam shot. Ball got in his hands a little bit, but he stayed right with it and muscled it.
So now the Dodgers have hits from somebody not named Barnes, somebody not named Smith. They've got hits from Taylor and now Estevez, because Barnes and Smith had their only hits up until this point in the game. Sheldon Neuse playing third base. 7 for 20 in spring training. Chance to drive in an insurance run. First and third, nobody out. Ruiz pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. No Cody Bellinger in the lineup today. We were told originally a couple of days ago that he would start yesterday, which he did. Play center field, which he also did, and that the plan would be today he would be the DH. But Dave Roberts saying today that he's healthy, he's good, feels good. He will play tomorrow instead.
A lot of conversation about the new stance of Cody Bellinger. He was asked yesterday after the ball game. He said, look, that stance somewhat similar to something he has used in the past. Not recently. But that stance, there's some mechanical issues that, it was only his first game. The timing was not there. But it is interesting. And his stance is different in quite a few areas. Question is going to be now, the stance is different. How will that and will it affect the swing?
Well, the main thing we're hearing so far is that the shoulder is A-OK, 100% after November surgery.
What I noticed is that there was some moving parts of the swing, and whether it's caused by the fact, and again, it was just his first game that he played.
Yeah, but how about that first swing that he took?
The first swing that Cody Bellinger took in yesterday's ball game answered the question for Dave Roberts and anyone else that was watching the game.
Yes.
His shoulder is fine.
Yeah.
Because most human beings, when you swing that hard, going to be parts fall off.
Noise strikes out. One gone for the Dodgers in the 8th.
First baseman number 57, Matt Davidson.
Matt Davidson, the batter. He is in at first base. Dodgers trying to pick things up with runners in scoring position over the last couple of games. They're a combined between today and yesterday 1 for 16. So approach and situational hitting, things that obviously get worked on a daily basis in baseball, but you've got to put them into practice in games, and it's not always an easy thing. It's not automatic.
Well, the big bat was too noisy, because you wind up with the runners at first and third. Even if you get a ground ball and a double play, you're going to get a run. unless it's hit right back to the pitcher or maybe sharply to third. So always he was very upset about the at-bat because he knows the importance of that's an at-bat you're trying to tell people is, hey, look, in a critical spot, I can make contact.
Low to Davidson, 2-1. Well, that's what you want. You want that contact.
Davidson's had a couple of swings that in this spring you go, oh my goodness. He is some kind of strong. He keeps that swing compact. You see he's got a lot of hand movement. Yes, a hitch. There have been people over the past. Well, you can't hit with a hitch where your hands drop down. Oh, you can hit, but you have to make sure that your hands get back up to the top of the strike zone where you can handle that ball that's upstairs and get back up early enough to where it's not during the swing. If it holds the hands high and they'll drop down.
Look for a second there like Chris Siegel wanted to step back and ring him up, but he calls ball 4, and the Dodgers will take it. Now the bases are loaded for Los Angeles for the first time today. And Tony La Russa will take the walk out, and that's going to be it for Jose Ruiz. As the skipper makes his way slowly toward the mound. And he gets the ball, and that's going to be it. So we will have a pitching change. 1 out, bases loaded, top of the 8th. Dodgers up 2-1. Texas Ranger and Seattle Mariner Connor Sadzik will take over for Jose Ruiz, making his 4th spring training appearance. Giving up some runs already, 3 of them. And he comes in a tough spot for him. Good spot for the Dodgers with the bases loaded and 1 out. White Sox looking for a ground ball here, but Dodgers trying to add on late in the ball game, up 2-1. Ryan Noda will be the batter. Connor Sadzik, Crystal Lake, Illinois, trying to make the Southsiders. Ryan Noda, 1 for 9 this spring, comes up in a big spot with the bases full. And Sadzik getting ready to deliver. Strike call to Noda. Noda has not played above advanced A ball. He was in Dunedin in 2019, played a full season there with the Blue Jays advanced A affiliate. And he gets plunked, and the Dodgers get a run. So Sadzik hits Noda. And Burns will come in and score, and it's now 3-1.
Not really the way that you want to get on base. Wearing a shin guard so he doesn't hit a foul ball off of his left or front right leg, but shin guard may have helped him with getting hit by a pitch.
Rangel Rovelo. He'll take over now. Made his big league debut in 2019 with St. Louis. He was in 13 games with them last year. First ball swinging, bounds it foul. He originally was with the White Sox. And he was chosen out of high school in Hialeah, Florida. 6th round pick, actually, by the White Sox in 2010. The White Sox thought a lot of him, but he ended up being on the move with the Athletics as well as the Cardinals organizations. And this one is thrown to left field and a base hit. Estevez comes in to score. Dodgers go station to station. It's 4-1.
Some good hitting. Just went down, hammered that one immediately. Dino Ebel, the third base coach, of the ball being hit hard, holds up the stop sign at third base for Davidson.
Tim Fedorovich, veteran catcher. Fair to say, a journeyman catcher. He's been with a number of organizations, including the Dodgers before. No balls, one strike. 4-1 Dodgers, top of the 8th. Base is still loaded and one man out. And that one to the backstop. And do they get him? Yes, they do. So Davidson tagged out, trying to score on a wild pitch. Jonathan Lucroy with a calm toss right to the pitcher Sadzik, who made the tag out.
This one just a little bit high.
Think so?
As a hitter, you don't know what to do because the ball upstairs. Okay, that's one thing. When the ball is behind you, which way do you go? And a good tag at home plate.
Just got him right on the spike. 2 outs, second and third for Tim Fedorovich. Two runs in this inning, 3 hits.
Lucroy down on one knee, had difficulty getting that pitch. Was outside, but not real far outside, and you got runners at second and third.
Lucroy flashes the signs. Sadzik ready to go. Runners off second and third. Kind of a miss by Fedorovich. Now it's 2-2. Good news for catchers, like Fedorovich. In Major League camp, you get to hang around a little while because they need extra catchers all the time. So oftentimes catchers will end up being reassigned late, perhaps. The catching situation pretty well set with the Dodgers with Barnes and Smith, but a guy like Fedorovich, he could be around for a while in camp.
Well, that's the good news. The bad news is you're catching about 13 different pitchers in bullpen sessions all during the morning.
Right.
Your hand gets swollen. You're only catching about 400 or 500 pitches in a bullpen. By the time the day is over and you try to pick up a bat.
Lucroy does everything he can there to keep that ball.
And that was a terrific catch. I don't care if he's on his knees or in the crouch. That was just a tremendous stop, saves a run. Give credit where credit is due, but he could save some energy with a different stance behind home plate.
Getting the feeling you don't like the one knee thing.
Oh, wait till tomorrow.
I just have a
I'll
feeling.
have a chance to talk about it.
Starting to get the hint of the evolving
I'm not the
techniques.
only one.
Well, a lot of evolving techniques behind the plate. Did he go? Apparently he did. He's rung up. So Fedorovich out on strikes. Bases left loaded, but 2 runs come in. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Dodgers 4, White Sox 1. Gilbert, Arizona's James Pazos pitching now in the bottom of the 8th inning. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 6 hits for the Chicago White Sox. AAA in 2019. Pazos, Lehigh Valley and Albuquerque. He split time between the Yankees AAA club in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, and Albuquerque in New Mexico. Did see a little bit of time with the Rockies. 12 games with the Rockies in 2019. Only 6 last year with Colorado. Non-roster invite. A left-handed pitcher. To face Leori Garcia, the switch hitter. Garcia fouls the first pitch back. So I don't know about you, Rick. I look at my pitching list here, and James is the last pitcher the Dodgers have listed today. So without being able to see inside the bullpen, either he's going to go 2 or the invisible man's going to pitch the ninth.
Yep.
Popped up, jammed him. And he'll make way for Matt Davidson. He'll make the catch for the first out of the White Sox 8th.
On St. Patty's Day, they need the lucky charm. Pazos to work 2.
Jose Abreu going the route today. This will be his 4th plate appearance. He is 1 for 3. Boy, Matt Beatty made a great play on him in the 3rd inning, didn't he? Diving to his throwing hand side, his right side. Basically tackled the baseball, kept it in play. Buehler made a beeline for first base. Covered first perfectly and just barely beat Abreu to the bag on the throw. 0-1 to Abreu.
American League MVP.
Pazos kicks and deals. Fires one a little high.
Ray is one of those hitters who just does not look surprised by a lot of pitches.
Pazos 1 ball, 1 strike pitch to Abreu. 2-1. Pazos, Arizona kid, but went to school in Southern California, University of San Diego. He pitched there. Yankees drafted him out of there in 2012. 13th round pick. Two one. Fouled back. Then they traded him to the Mariners. 2016, when the season ended, he was sent to the Mariners. And maybe 2 weeks later, the Mariners made another deal. And Pazos was never in Seattle. It's kind of a paper trade, but it was a multiplayer deal that included shortstop Gene Segura and pitcher Juan Nicasio. And Pazos went to the Phillies for Carlos Santana and shortstop J.P. Crawford. So on paper he was a Mariner, but that was about it. And less than a year later, they sent Pazos to the Rockies for a second base prospect, Hunter Stovall. And then the Dodgers signed him this year to a minor league contract in December. And here he is as a non-roster invite to Major League camp. 2-2 to Abreu, 1 out, bases empty in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Pazos coming in late in the ballgame, but he's facing one of the premier hitters in Abreu right now, so this is not an easy task.
It's a big sequence of pitches here against a guy like this. Most of the Chicago regulars are still in the game this late. Right at second base, and Andy Burns hauls it in for out number 2.
Good pitch just in the hands of the big power hitter.
Center fielder number 32, Billy Hamilton.
Billy Hamilton came in to pinch run for Yoan Moncada in the 6th inning. Promptly stole second base, but he was stranded there. So now he gets a chance to hit for the first time. And that's a guy that needs to find ways to get on base. He's a terror on the base paths.
You know, around baseball over the years, they've said, hey, look, with 2 outs, don't be bunting. It's different when you got a guy like Hamilton. If he can lay down a bunt, because you figure good chance to steal a base and get the second.
Who is the best bunter? Who's I think of Brett Butler, somebody like that.
Butler was excellent at bunting. Not only his time with the Dodgers, but one of the best. And he didn't bunt that often, but it was a weapon that he could use. Rod Carew. He's with the Minnesota Twins in his great Hall of Fame career. He could drag the bunt with him, being a left-handed batter, or he could lay it down to third baseline.
2-1 to Hamilton. Carew had that stance where he'd be in a crouch and just did so much with the hands. His hands were always busy.
Well, he could, when he was hitting, it was like trust the hands, and you thought at times you could get the ball by him, and it was like he would buggy whip the bat.
3-1 from Pazos. And he walked Hamilton. So 3 runs down in the 8th, but we'll see what Hamilton does against the lefty. It's a test for the base runner now. Luis Gonzalez, who went into left field, will get his first plate appearance. Hamilton stays put. Fedorovich will go out and talk to Pazos here. So does Hamilton try it here or not?
Well, you've got the lefty on the mound. But here's the part too, is that Hamilton, as you mentioned, is a non-roster player. Is he attempting to really impress Tony La Russa and the rest of the White Sox staff?
Stealing a base doesn't get you 3 runs here, but this is spring training and you're working on things. Basically lets Pazos know he's not going when he leans back to first base. But a guy who can run, and you're right, Rick. I mean, he might be trying to catch on somewhere else. You never know. People want to see that he can still get jumps.
There are some scouts in the stands today.
But the other thing too is, does he want to not get fooled by a lefty?
Yep. He does not. He does not want to be the last man standing.
No.
Everybody else off the field and say, by the way, you just got picked off.
Yeah. 2 outs, often you're going to run. A guy like this who can run, but he's having a nice conversation with Matt Davidson at first base. He might not want to interrupt that either. Billy Hamilton, he looks really happy today, doesn't he? Thrilled to be out on the baseball field.
Well, these
smiling, talking to everybody.
Oh yeah.
He's having fun. Gonzalez pops it up. And DJ Peters will handle it. And the side retired, inning over. 1 man left, so a 0 on the board for Pazos as we go to the 9th. Well, the Dodgers had to call in reinforcements. Ryan Pepio now warming up. There was nobody in the bullpen after Pazos. But fortunately, reinforcements are only a few steps away here at Camelback Ranch. 4-1, Dodgers with the lead, top of the 9th. McKinstry facing Connor Sadzik.
Pepio evidently was told, do not leave the premises until this contest is over.
Well, Pazos had a pretty good inning, and looks like Pepio getting hot, so we'll probably see him in this game in the bottom of the 9th inning. Pazos threw 19 pitches. Zach McKinstry is 0 for 3 today. 2 strikeouts and a fly out to center. Curveball for a strike. Top of the 9th inning. Outside. 3-1 to McKinstry.
You can just hear the call of Chris Siegel, the home plate umpire. He was the one that said outside, just outside.
That's the thing with the limited attendance too. You can not just hear the umpire. When there's a smaller crowd, you tend to hear the conversations.
Well, there have been a couple of umpires over the years that even with large crowds you could hear them. Dutch Rennert comes to mind.
Zach fouls this one down the third base side and out of play.
You took a strike with Dutch working home plate. He would take 2 steps to his right, go down on one knee and bark out strike. Hold out the right hand, and people in the upper deck could hear him.
3-2 payoff pitch. Breaking ball fouled off. I think the opposite of that would be somebody like Tim McClellan, who would clench his fist in front of his chest. So if you're sitting behind him like we do in the booth, you can't see if it's a ball or a strike, but the hitter could hear him because he would say, "Yep."
Exactly. A terrific umpire.
That's how he would call a strike. The hitter and the catcher would know. The pitcher could probably hear it, but he would just say, "Yep." That would be a strike. And then he would leave everybody in the booth guessing whether it was a ball or a strike. But veteran guy, longtime guy. In fact, he was the guy in the Pine Tar game that called George Brett out, Tim McClellan. 3-2 pitch. And this one popped up. Back a third. And over there to get it. There's
center fielder number 70, DJ Peters.
He didn't have to wait long for Brett to join him at home plate.
No. George just calmly walked out of the dugout and said, "Excuse me, sir, I'd like to have a discussion."
Pardon me.
One of the most irate looking faces I've ever seen in baseball. Having the home run taken away from DJ Peters plunked. That's the second man that Sadzik has hit. He hit Ryan Noda with the bases loaded in the 8th.
Number 29, Andy Burns.
Nothing Peters could do. Burns had a home run yesterday in the B game. That was the game at 10 o'clock in the morning against the White Sox over on their side of the complex. Then came out and played in the exhibition game at 1. Came off the bench. It wasn't at 1. He was there for 1, but came in late in the game. And here he is playing today. He's been getting almost daily playing time. Might get 1 at bat, maybe 2. Playing multiple positions. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Connor Sadzik ready to go. His 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Lucroy gives Sadzik the sign. Sets up inside. The pitch goes outside. Missed a spot.
By a couple of feet.
Well, when you watch a game, you watch a pitcher really from the center field camera, you get used to this. If the catcher's glove's all over the place, you know the pitcher's all over the place. If the catcher's got quiet hands and is catching the ball where the target is set, you know the pitcher's got great command. But that's a guy like Jonathan Lucroy with his experience, and I don't know what his interest level is, but when his playing days are done, you'd figure he would, if he wants to stay in baseball, he would have a job somewhere because of the knowledge that he's gained being behind the plate for all these years.
Oh, he's been coaching from behind the plate for a number of years during just his career.
Burns is out on strikes. 2 out for the Dodgers in the 9th inning.
Shortstop number 41, Omar Estevez.
You know, for Lucroy, a veteran guy, you figure he's in there doing everything he can. 9th inning of a spring training game. Probably a place where a few years ago he might not have considered he'd be catching. As a 2-time All-Star. Guy who's been the regular starting catcher on a lot of different teams. A few different teams. But that's all part of being a veteran. You've got to answer the call, answer that bell whenever it rings. 4-1 Dodgers, top of the 9th. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch to Omar Estevez. Popped up the center field. Billy Hamilton makes the catch. Dodgers done in the 9th. 3 outs to get. As we head to the last of the last here at Camelback Ranch. 4-1 Dodgers. For the appropriate headgear at the ballpark. 4-1 Dodgers leading the White Sox. We head to the bottom of the 9th. I think you'd be in favor of that hat on the right. It's a Titleist on it.
All day. Especially if you can keep it in the fairway.
That's right. Ryan Pepiot will come in and pitch out of Butler University. The Indiana kid is out there. He's been continuing to improve his changeup. 4-pitch guy to climb the ladder in the Dodger minor league system. So he will mop up today. I guess you could call it mop up duty. Pitching in the bottom of the 9th of a scheduled 9-inning game. Taking over for Pazos. Pazos did a pretty good job. Now Reynolds standing in for Chicago.
A chance to pick up a save.
Matt Reynolds at third base. And Pepiot fires. Just missed outside. 2 balls and no strikes. The year that Pepiot really opened eyes was his last year at Butler. Reynolds hits this one deep to right field, and it is gone. A home run, a solo shot to lead off the 9th for Reynolds. 4-2.
Nothing automatic. I don't care if it's a little league game, pony league, high school, big leagues. There's nothing routine about trying to close out a ball game in the 9th inning. 7th, 8th, and 9th, really a challenge. That 9th inning, the final 3 outs, they're always tough, it seems like.
First White Sox run scored since the first inning of the ball game when Leori Garcia came in on the throwing error by Austin Barnes. Adam Engel, who's been out in right field. Ground ball left side of the infield. That is cut off by Noisy. Guns it to first and plenty of time for the first out of the 9th. Well, Pepiot gets the first out. Mentioned his year at Butler that really opened up eyes. Imagine this. 78 innings he pitched. And in 78 innings, he struck out 126 men.
It's off the charts.
That's ridiculously good. And so the Dodgers made him a priority. Jonathan Lucroy takes low for a ball. This is a good test for Pepiot. I mean, he's facing a very, very seasoned major leaguer. And Jonathan Lucroy, the pitch. That's outside 2-0.
Try to repeat the mechanics of the delivery.
Pepiot, when he first turned pro, started out just to get acclimated in the Arizona Rookie League and then transitioned to, at the time, low A Great Lakes. He falls way behind Lucroy.
That was the changeup.
Pepiot went 23 1/3 pro innings that first time around for him. 31 strikeouts, so more strikeouts than innings pitched. He alarms Lucroy, but he walks him.
Well, that's not what you want to do. Here's the 9th inning because you put Lucroy on base, and now the potential tying run comes to the home plate.
Yermin Mercedes. 0 for 3 today. Struck out twice and he lined out. Lucroy expecting to run. I guess he's going to. Or maybe.
No, I think he's going to get the hook.
Is he getting the pinch runner? That's what we thought would happen. Now finally they get someone out there to run for him. Zach Remillard. Tony La Russa getting the veteran Lucroy out of the ball game late. Remillard will run. And getting somebody young in the game. Someone an opportunity. Mercedes watches that one the whole way. 1 ball, no strikes. Pepiot working from the stretch, runner at first, 1 out. And is having problems finding a strike right now.
4 consecutive balls to Lucroy. And now 2 in a row to Mercedes. Dave Roberts, I don't know if they pulled anybody else out of the locker room or not in the bullpen now.
Throw to first base, Remillard back. Now, also, if you're Mercedes, you're probably going to swing out of your shoes on this next pitch if it's anywhere close. You'd think, right?
This will not be dainty.
And he did swing hard, but fouled it back.
You know, that's a good pitch, too, because that ball came in on his hands. Watch this ball just come in on the hands. A late movement, and Mercedes trying to clear out that front side, but not early enough.
Yeah, he had some bad intentions with that swing. You see how long he held that leg kick? How much he had cocked that and left it up there?
Held it a little bit too long. And with that pitch, you understand why Pepiot was able to strike out a lot of batters.
That time he didn't hold the leg kick as much. 2-2. Pepiot on the road back against Yermin Mercedes. Tomorrow will wrap up a good group of consecutive day games for the Dodgers. David Price will make his first start of Cactus League action. He'll go against Merrill Kelly of the Diamondbacks.
Jammed again.
Everybody clap your hands.
Well, Ryan Pepiot trying not to increase the slight jam that he's getting in.
Well, 3 or 4 of the last pitches have been very good.
Ground ball left side, that sneaks through. That'll be a base hit for Mercedes. So Mercedes puts it in play. It's a ground ball with eyes, and it finds a hole. And now the tying run is on.
I wonder if they will have a pinch runner for Mercedes. Looked like a changeup, which is an interesting call. I understand the changeup is a good pitch, but you just jammed the guy 2 out of the last 3 pitches.
Bottom of the 9th inning, 1 out. Tying run is aboard. Danny Mendick, the shortstop. Mendick tried to bunt his way on in the 7th inning. Was unsuccessful. This time he swings and misses. The ball gets away. Runners move up. And that puts the tying run in scoring position. So you got to wonder now about the pulse of Pepiot. Hopefully it's still got a steady heartbeat. He's trying to get out of this inning. Force play is out of order. And he gets ahead of Mendick, 0-2. Nothing into the White Sox shortstop who took over for Tim Anderson at the 6th inning.
Brief shot, big gap in left center field.
0-2. And a ground ball slowly hit to Estevez. He'll have 1 play. That's to first. They get the out. Run scores. Remillard comes in to score. Makes it a 4-3 game. But the White Sox now down to their last out.
Where Pepiot has been at his best in this inning is when he's gotten the ball in with that good movement. That was a broken bat. Another jam shot.
Eddie Romero, another non-roster invite left-handed pitcher, has been summoned to start loosening up just in case. And the pinch hitter is Andrew Vaughn. And Vaughn will head down to first. So the sailing has been sailing, but not very smooth for Ryan Pepiot here in the bottom of the 9th. Walking the tightrope without a net.
This would be a good spot, quite frankly, to have Fedorovich come out, if nothing else, to just change the cadence of this inning, go to the mound.
And a tough customer at the plate. Tying run at second. Potential winning run is at first. And Ryan Pepiot, a chance to save it. Nick Williams will come on to pinch run now for Mercedes. So Williams represents the tying run. Tony La Russa getting some more speed on the base paths. Ball low to Abreu. Big time test here for young right-hander Ryan Pepiot. One and one. Pretty good cut from Abreu. Then again, he doesn't get cheated often up there. Had a first inning single. That's been it today. First and second, 2 down. Bottom of the 9th, Dodgers up 4-3. And the pitch. And he hit him. And Pepiot immediately covered up his mouth with his glove. Almost out of disbelief. And now the bases are loaded. in on him, and then let's listen. And that's going to do it for Pepiot. So Eddie Romero will come in to get the final out. And the Dodgers clinging to a one-run lead. Bases loaded, 2 out, bottom of the 9th. See what happens next. Left-hander Eddie Romero trying to finish this one, but a big-time threat for the White Sox. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Billy Hamilton at the plate. Romero takes over for Pepiot and starts Hamilton off with a ball. Tying runs at third. Winning run is in scoring position at second. 35 big league games he'd been with the Rays. Tough outing for Pepiot as it turned out. And Romero's pitch is up high, check swing. Did he go? That's the question. And he did not go, so the count goes to 2-0.
Hitters in the driving seat here. At the tying run at third, there's bases loaded. Guy just out of the bullpen is behind 2-0. And the hitter knows you have to throw a strike here.
So Hamilton looking for something to hit. And a check swing roller goes foul.
Well, that's just a bad approach. 2 balls, no strikes, has to throw a strike, and you've got a check swing.
That's one of those swing hard in case you hit it moments. Hamilton waiting. Now Eddie Romero set. 2-1 pitch. And he popped it up. Foul. A chance for Davidson. And time to exhale. Eddie Romero will get the save. And a 4-3 Dodger win today. And close call at the end. But Dave Roberts and the Dodgers come up victorious as Romero gets the pop-up foul to end it. So that will do it. From Glendale, the final score, Dodgers 4, White Sox 3. For Rick Monday, I'm Tim Neverett. We'll be with you tomorrow again when the Dodgers face the Diamondbacks on SNLA at 1 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your St. Patrick's Day.